it so we can see the hole as well. So, the plot thickens. It could well be that we've got two mothers here. Hello lady, you're going to come and say hello. Or we have one mother with two pups. I'd say one did look much larger than the other. Good afternoon to you, lady. And I think this is our mother who we saw this morning. I see a little bit of blood on her ears. I think maybe the cubs have been chewing on her ears. Oh, we've got another one. Look who it is. I think this could be the cub that Peter found. That looks like Ndapandula. So this could be the communal den now. Looks like other hyenas are gathering here. You checking us out, lady? So that could be Ndapandula's mother lying down, that this lady was actually bent over, or standing over as we approached. But I think that is Ndapandula, or is that mother? No, that mother's actually suckling, I think. Because remember when we saw the female this morning, we had the one cub feeding from her, the other cub came up from the hole, so it looked like it had been feeding, but it is possible it might have been somebody else's cub, and that's what I did say this morning. I wasn't sure, but with not having the other female around, I thought it might have been the same mother. Hi, Jeffrey in Nashville. Welcome on board this afternoon. Jeffrey from Nashville would like to know how strong is a hyena. They're very strong. Oh, Asheville. Sorry, I thought you were saying Nashville. Asheville. And they are very strong. The bite of a hyena is one of the strongest in the animal kingdom. I think it's only beaten by the alligator snapping turtle over in the US. But its bite is around 1,500 pounds per square inch. Which is pretty strong. And that gives them the ability to crush bone, even large pieces of bone, skulls and femurs of animals like giraffe and things like that, and elephants. They can chew through bone. And they are the caretakers of the bush. You know, they actually help to decompose some of those substances that other animals just can't utilise. Now I'm just sitting here, just letting them get used to hearing us, hearing the sounds of the electrical equipment on board. I was going to say I'll see... yeah, there's a little cub. So I was going to see if we could go around and see her, but it seems as she's moved, we don't need to. Hello, little one. Now this female, her ears are a lot more tatty than the other females. And she's got quite a few swellings on those ears. So we have a fourth mother by the looks of it. I can't keep up with these mothers. So this could be the mother of the other cub we saw this morning. Or we could have 3 small cubs here. So it'd be interesting to see. So this probably isn't Ndapandula's mother. Hi Sharon in Missouri. Welcome on board this afternoon. Sharon wanting to know will they nurse each other's cubs, and apparently not. Oh, shame, that cub is very hungry. Wonder if there's another hyena coming in. She's not sure. But yeah, it's strange to me because they do have these communal dens and they do. But yet, Ndapandula was, by the looks of it, around the 4 or 5 month old mark when. Oh, yeah, it's a piece of bone. When Peter found Ndapandula, and you can see it's got much lighter and still got quite a bit of fur, but the legs are a lot longer than what they were even then. So the age is about right, and I think Brian's also recognising it as being Ndapandula as well. So I'm sure a lot of people are very happy to catch up with Ndapandula. And as I say, I think we found ourselves the new communal den. And I'm wondering, maybe that hyena whooping that I heard a bit earlier was the adults looking for maybe the more dominant female within the group who might have already been here. As I say, it's very difficult to say who's dominant and who's not unless you have a group of hyenas around and they come to greet each other. And the one that goes to greet is a subordinate. The one that just stands to be greeted is the dominant. Okay, I'm just going to pull around the other side and just see if we can get a view of her. I'm just going to see what she's like when we start up the vehicle. Ndapandula just having a quick look at us. Mum just had a little sneaky look, but she's looking away now and she's actually put her head down. So I'm going to see if she'll actually allow us to just go around the corner and try and get a nicer view of her for you. Nursing the pup. And it could be the other pup is inside the hole, or pups, because Mum is a little bit further away from the den. So Mum's there. Disturb her if I try and go around, so we might just have to watch her for a little bit and then move back to where we were. Good afternoon, stations. Ndpandula Filament's cut line is active. Ndpandula Filament's cut line active. Again, though, it is a little bit windy here. You can see the grass blowing. So the adult's just trying to pick up any scents that they might give them the warning that there is somebody else around. And they used to be classified with the dogs because of the way they look. They do look like a dog. And the claws do stay out. Whereas the cats actually retract the claws, but there's a few similarities within the skull that they share with cats. which is why they have been reclassified with the cats, and that's why I think you can actually use pup or cub to describe their offspring. Sorry, can you just mention the name again? Hi, Dolly in Ontario. Welcome on board this afternoon, Dolly. And I'm just going to keep a check on my monitor to make sure she's not disturbed. But Dolly wants to know about how close the hyenas are getting. Would they actually attack a human? In this scenario, no. They do know that the vehicle is out of bounds, and anything within that vehicle, that it's also out of bounds. The same with the cats. We've had the leopards very close, the lions, and again, there is that natural understanding that you do not go near the vehicles. There's that respect there. If they were to... Oh, she got something. She got the sound of something. If they were to come too close to the vehicle, especially the leopard and the lion, then we do have to just remind them that the vehicles are out of bounds, because otherwise, if you allow them to put their paws on the vehicle, even if they're just inquisitive, the next step could be jumping on the vehicle. The next step could actually be jumping into and in between your guests, and maybe even killing people. So to keep that natural respect, if they put the paw anywhere near the vehicle, if they're sniffing the wheels, that's fine. But if they put the paw on the vehicle, then need to remind them. So either just a sharp hey, or bang on the side of the door, or just roll the vehicle forward, turning the engine on, anything like that, just to remind them that it's a no-go zone. Just to remind them that they need to keep clear. And hyenas are very wary animals, but they do become a lot bolder the more that the individuals are. But again, they become bolder just like the cats do at night. That really is their time. And on occasion, people do underestimate hyenas, and they do fall foul because of it. And occasionally you do hear of hyenas actually going into staff quarters if people have left the doors open and things like that, and actually dragging people out very, very occasionally, but it does happen. You've got to remember that we are living in the bush. These are wild animals, and they do take opportunities if they are there. So it's sometimes human error actually forgetting and inviting the animals in, because maybe what's actually led up to that point is people actually feeding the hyenas, so they've lost their fear of humans. So a hyena wouldn't just walk into camp and drag somebody out. That wouldn't happen. There's always something that it builds up, and it builds up for them to cross that line. And most of the time it's because people feed hyenas, and you're not supposed to in Kruger, but I still see people when I've been there throwing meat over the fence for the hyenas. And unfortunately the hyenas start to lose respect for people and for the boundaries, and then they start damaging property and things like that, and that's when you could potentially get a hyena trying to get a child or something like that. So if you do ever go to Kruger, please do not feed the hyenas. There are signs up that do say no feeding hyenas, and there's a very good reason for that. It's the same with baboons. People think, oh, a baboon, let's feed it, especially down in Cape Town. And the problem is now that baboons have lost their fear of humans, and so they can become a little bit too bold, and they'll steal ice creams from children and crisp packets and things like that, because again, people have said to them it's fine, and no, it's not. You need to keep that respect, and you can view animals just like this. Go ahead. see anybody there. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hello.
Can you see okay?
Yeah, very good. Thanks.
Okay. There is actually another hyena around here. I can move back a bit more if you want to see it.
Okay, no, it's fine for now.
You sure? This female's got a cub here as well.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah. So obviously you've got the other side of things where you've got the herbivores. Now if the herbivores were to give birth to underdeveloped young, they'll be extremely vulnerable. Quite often the herds move around, so the mother... Oh, there we go. Playing with little Ndapandula. So the mother could struggle to actually keep it hidden, and they do hide offspring for sometimes a week or two or a few days, just so the offspring can actually get used to her, but the offspring can still move, so they're fully developed, and that's why herbivores usually only give birth to one, because there's just not, it's not possible for her to carry 2 or 3 or more that are fully developed. But obviously once they're born they need to be able to run straight away, they need to be able to move, because otherwise they're just so vulnerable to carnivores and predators. And for those of you who might just be seeing the cubs for the first time, you can see the little cub on the left. Oh, cheeky. So the little cub on the left is black, so it's under 4 months old. I think it's probably around the 2.5 month old stage. And the cub on the right is probably around the 7-8 month old mark. Something like that. You can see big size difference. And even the spots, they'll gain the spots about 4 months of age. Can you send who that was from again? Hi, Marisha in Texas. Welcome on board. Marisha wanting to know what's the purpose of their long neck. I'd say it's probably so they can actually get to the ground fairly easily without having to bend their legs. Cheeky. female has just made a pasting on the lee grass there. And I'm hoping you could actually hear that deep call that she was giving. Contact call, there she goes again. Right, go ahead. Alright, good, and yourself? There's 2 stations in the lock at the moment. Watch your lock. Copy, yeah, keep coming and just let me know when you're around quarantine area and I'll make space for you. So just to confirm, that sound you were hearing was from the female hyena. Oh look, the baby's actually got hold of that piece of bone. And I think the baby is possibly more dominant than the older cub, Ndapandula. And that's one of the reasons why she has managed to steal it away from her. And that will be from her birthright, so if they are high up on the ranking, if the mother's high up on the ranking, then the offspring will be high up on the ranking. And generally speaking, the matriarch is female dominated. If the matriarch is she's usually the strongest, the largest female, and chances are the cubs are going to get those genes to also become the strongest and largest. And I think possibly that other female was slightly lower ranking than her mother. And a few people wanting to know why the hyena was calling. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. It could be that she was just getting excited. It could be that she was just talking to the baby. We did actually see the younger female do that a little while ago. But it certainly seemed to be aimed towards the youngster. And you might notice as well when they do call, and especially if they're trying to contact the rest of the group, they actually do call into the ground to amplify the sound, and that's why it can carry for quite a distance. That's why I wasn't sure exactly where the hyena was calling from, because they will do that. But the fact that I could hear it did say it was somewhere close to camp. Let's say it could have been on the quarantine area, in which case it may well have been one of these females trying to locate the others to find them here at the den. Little Ndapandula I don't think is high up on the ranking. And I think with this cub being quite bold, I'd say it's probably higher up on the ranking. Well, certainly its mother is.
Yeah, I don't think some
Yeah, you can see that submissive stance there. You can see the tail was tucked right underneath, look. So I think cub does outrank Ndapandula, the larger cub. Trying to reclaim its bone again. Yeah, check her, she's really trying to nip at it. I keep saying her, I think it probably is a female. I say they do tend to be a lot more aggressive than males. Could be that this Ndapandula could be a male, that could be why it's a lot more submissive. Because males are submissive to females. So it'd be interesting to see if he does bite hard. It'll be interesting to see what mother's reaction is. If the pup yells. Can you hear the bones crunching? And you might notice it turning the head just so the cheek teeth can actually get to the bone. And it's those cheek teeth that are the shearing teeth. There's a pair, the premolar and a molar, on either side. And that's what they use to try and shear away meat from the bone, but also, as in the hyena's case, the bone itself. Okay, no worries. Catch you later. Hi Lisa, welcome on board this afternoon. Lisa wanting to know, can the baby chew the bone and why won't it share? Well, unfortunately in hyena world there's no sharing. And again, that's possibly because of the amount of testosterone in the female's body, and it could be because of the food and outcompeting males for dominance around food. So they had enough to survive, and obviously the babies actually do suckle for quite a long time. So, as I say, if they've got the testosterone, the high levels, if they could outcompete the males for enough food, then their body can produce the milk, because the cubs can potentially drink milk up until about 1.5 years old, which is very long for a predator. You're looking usually for the lions and the other big cats around 3 months, sometimes up to 6 months, but usually they're weaned by about 3 or 4 months. So for the hyenas it's very long before they fully weaned, and that might have had something to do with the females outcompeting males for food. But as I say, there's no sharing when it comes to food. What is quite interesting, I think, the vehicle is moving. Sorry, who's that second one from? Julia from Houston, wanting to know, do they immediately know the hierarchy from birth? And I think they have a good idea, because the way the other hyenas will greet mum, and they'll also greet the offspring. Oh, Ndapandula. Protecting your piece of bone. And that's also possibly why females of lower ranking might wait for quite a while before they go and take their babies to the communal den. They might let the young actually grow up a little bit, and that could be what's happening with the other females we've been seeing, because the young do seem to be around the 2-month-old mark. Sometimes they can actually take the cubs to a communal den by 10 days old, but I think that could be the more dominant females, because they have no worries with the cubs being bullied, whereas the subordinate females, the cubs might be bullied. So if they're young, they might fall victim to them, but if they're older, then they should be a little bit more able to look after themselves. You can hear the groaning from the adult again. Giving her a little bit of a push out the way there. So it could be that adult there is higher ranking than the pup, because she was lifting her leg earlier, and it could be that she was inviting the pup to smell her genitalia, which is the greeting. I say it will be how the adults interact with the cubs as well. Oh, little Ndapandula. Looking very sorry for herself, or himself. It's very difficult to tell male and female hyena apart, because the genitalia is very similar, and that comes from the amount of testosterone in the female's body. It's enlarged the genitalia to look like a male's. Hello, little one. the wind is starting to die down a little bit. But I have seen individuals actually calling to try and almost entice the more dominant hyena to interact. So that's why it's interesting. I'm still trying to work out who is more dominant. And that little laughter is when they get very excited. You can see the other two very alert. Something happened with Ndapandula and Ndapandula ran off, so that definitely says to me that it is the subordinate. But that laughter you often hear around carcasses when the hyenas are really excited, and the tail springs up as well. They'll run around with the tail up in the air. Just confirm for me, was it Donna? Hi, Gail in Salem. Good to have you on board this afternoon. Gail wanting to know if Ndapandula, who's on your screen now, is still suckling, and it will be at this stage. So, oh, there's a scrub hare just in front of us. You able to get it? They don't tend to be out and about this time of day. Doesn't seem to be too worried the fact that there's a family of hyena just around the corner. I think it would be more concerned if there was a cat here. But as I say, hyenas are very good at hunting. They're very good hunters in their own right, but they are scavengers, and I think mainly scavengers here in the Sabi Sands because there's such a high density of cats here and other carnivores, so the possibility of getting a free meal rather than having to waste the energy is much higher. But as I say, I think this little cub is probably about 7-8 months old. So they'll often go scavenging with the mother when they reach about six months old or so. Apparently they'll join a hunt when they're about a year old. And they may actually leave, especially if it's a male, they may leave when they're about 2. But if the male is born to the matriarch, then he actually has a free pass for a year, so he may leave about 3 years of age. Go ahead. No problem. You're more than welcome to pull in. You're more than welcome to pull in. But this is one thing I love, and we're able to actually watch the behaviour. And it is through just watching them and figuring out all of these things that you've been asking about the hierarchy. It slowly comes together. The more that you watch, the more it comes together. Welcome on board, Wanda. Wanda wanting to know if the mother with the 2 cubs is here or has she moved to a new den. It's difficult to say if the cubs are still here. It could be that she moved on as the other females joined her. I thought that the mother might be the other adult that's here. We're not seeing the second cub, but it could be the cub is actually in the hole sleeping. it could be that there's actually two mothers, and the cubs were actually one for each mother. Because as I say, we actually had the two cubs. One looked a little bit larger than the other, and I thought maybe it's because it was a female and a male, but it could well have been that it was because it was from a different mother. It looked like that cub had been suckling from her, but it actually came out of the hole, so it looked like it had been from between the back legs, which is where the second cub would have been, because we had the first cub when we first met her. So there's a whole lot of scenarios. So it could have been her. Oh look, baby's on its back. Oh, rolling around. Amazing. So the two scenarios could be that it was the mother of the two cubs, or it could have been that there was two mothers and we're seeing the other mother. As I say, I'm pretty sure this other adult is the other mother, because she had not in her right ear, it was almost as if someone had actually bitten the top part of it off, and this one looks like it could be the same. But again, it's just going to be from visiting the den and just watching what's going on. Hopefully I'll be able to get to the bottom of it, because you may be lucky enough to see over the next few days another female suckling the young. You might see a female with the two cubs again. But from what I'm seeing, at least we definitely have four mothers. There's no doubt about that. But whether that third mother actually has two cubs or just the one, only time will tell. Hi, Lynn from Markham. Been wanting to know how many litters can a hyena have, and can you track them like leopards? You can certainly use a spot pattern to try and recognise the hyenas. You hear me talking about the notches in the ears. That's what I've been finding probably the most useful, is the marks on the ears. But spore-wise, I've never noticed a difference between the spore, but maybe someone can research it one day. So we see subtle differences in the length and the width of leopard spores. There's nothing to say that would be the same for the hyenas, but then there is quite a large number of hyenas, or more hyenas than there are leopards. So maybe someone out there might be studying that side of things. I haven't seen anything or read anything as yet to suggest that you can. And if memory serves me correctly, I think hyenas, you're looking around a life expectancy of about 20 or so. So if the females start having pups when they're about 3 or 4 years old, and they'll probably have pups every 2 years or so. So maybe about 6 or 7 litters throughout their life. Not at all, have you got a good view? There might be 1 or 2 more mantwans. We had them earlier. but it could just be 2 Mantwans, we're not sure yet. Gonna take my bit of bone and go and sit in the doorway and eat it. Hi Cecilia on Twitter. Welcome on board this afternoon. I hope you're enjoying the hyenas. It's actually really nice just to sit and watch the behaviour. And I'm hoping we're melting a few hearts who might not enjoy hyenas very much. I'm sorry, your question has just popped out my head. I was just trying to see if I could find a picture of the aardvark.
It's lions.
Ah, there we go, lions, thank you. Trying to do 3 things at once. But if lions actually come across the den, would they attack? And yes, they would. They are competitors. They do compete for food source, and unfortunately baby hyenas is an easy target, and if they do come across the hyena den, they would try and kill the hyenas. Same as leopard would try and kill the hyenas, and vice versa as well. And unfortunately we have known Karula to have lost her cub fairly recently because of a hyena. And unfortunately it does happen. There's a few mixed reports about cub mortality rate in hyenas. It sounds like it's probably around 50% in the first year. But they can fall prey to snakes as well, and any other carnivore that might find them out and about, away from the safety of the hole. And that's why you'll see them running backwards and forwards from the holes. And eventually they start getting more confident and moving further and further away from the holes. It's a hard life, isn't it, puppy? Hi, Tina from Houston, wanting to know, how do hyenas come to their end? Probably like many carnivores, either through fighting with other hyenas, could be disease, could be injury. There's a lot of possibilities. Oh, very, very special. Well, with the wind dying down, I'm thinking maybe we should take a chance to have another drive around and see what else we can go and find. And if we're not successful, maybe we can come back here again a little bit later. But hopefully Brent will be able to come and check in on them tomorrow morning. And we still need to name the other two on cheetah cutline as well. So do you send your names through, because hopefully we can get the names for them and maybe even announce them tomorrow morning. See if I can get past this way now. The other female did move. Hi, Emily and Virginia. No one's saying goodbye, look. Emily and Virginia wanting to know, seems as we visiting this hyena den quite often. Is there a possibility we're helping the lions and the leopards to find it? Not really, they do get used to, all the animals are used to seeing and hearing vehicles, and this is a road they'll often use as well, so yeah, there isn't any problem really. Good, how are you? There's a nice view if you go around the other side. You can actually see the hole quite nicely as well. No worries, enjoy your safari. It seems to be quite a comfortable den because it does seem to get used quite often. And I remember just before we left 3 years ago, this was one of the den sites that we were visiting quite often. And as I say, I think little Ndapandula's mother caught wind of the lions and they actually walked down the road, which is not too far away. The lions didn't come down this way, they went down the road.